Hello everyone, I'm Damien. Very happy to be here, and I'll be talking about the way or the investigations that I'm running since 2011 in my company to turn it into a more agile company. So it's kind of the exact opposite of what Jürgen is trying to do. As I understand it, he is trying to build a new kind of company from the ground up. Well, I'm trying to turn an existing company into a new kind of organization. A few disclaimers before I start. I hope this is going to work because it's flashing like it has no battery. Okay, so far it works. Building an agile company is a kind of paradox because as an agile coach, I often talk to my clients. They come to me and say, I want to become agile. I say, becoming agile is not a purpose. You're not becoming agile as an end. You're becoming agile as a mean to do something else. What is it that you're trying to achieve in your organization? So I shouldn't be trying to be agile. I should be trying to do something else. In the same time, one of the things I learned as a manager over years is that I shouldn't focus on goals. I should focus on means. If I go to the salespeople and say, okay, you have to sell more, that doesn't help them. If I focus on what actions they need to invest time in order to make more sales, then it will have effect. So building an agile company is not a purpose, but this is where I'm focused as the CEO. Two points that I want to clarify. This is not a lecture. It resembles a lecture, but I'm not a knowing person. I have my own experience, but there's no real truth in what I say. You just can't take me accountable for that. This is my own experience, my ideas. It may be totally wrong. It may prove in the future that I was totally wrong. My company might be a total failure. Okay? And this is not, in the first view of this talk, I intended to make it a retrospective. But this is an ongoing process. The company is changing every single day, so it's very difficult to say this is a retrospective. We are not at the end of anything. What this is, it's a story. I'm intending to share a story of a few things that we have confronted with, that we have tried, and some that have failed. It's a story about paradoxes and how we deal with them, because I find that there are very interesting opportunities when we confront things that seem paradoxal. And I hope that this is not only about me, but this will also be about you, or at least some of you who will grab at least one idea that they can try in their own life tomorrow. A bit about me, because this has a lot to do with me. Very quickly, I started in computers quite early. I was 10 years old. It was quite fun, and then I made it my job. So I integrated my hobby into my job, which makes it much easier. 2001, I met the first Agile flavor, but I didn't even know it was Agile at the time. I was working as a CTO for a company building critical systems And one of my co-workers was also a contributor to open source Linux systems. And he told me, in one of my projects, we use that TDD thing, which is quite interesting. So we imported the TDD practices in our development. We had to build our own TDD framework, by the way, because the technology for our language didn't exist. But from then on, we, piece by piece, put on a whole XP, full-grade XP organization. But we were a software editor, so that was easy. XP was cool for developers. In 2004, I created my company. We started doing contracting work. We went from software editor to doing paid, fixed length, fixed cost contracts. And then XP was hard. Collaborating with the client, that's not as easy as it seems. So it went me back investigating for more solutions. And one of my co-workers, again, not the same one, told me about the Propindex, who had just released their first book 2 years ago, and the second book was just in the press. So I discovered lean thinking. From the Propindex, I went to Toyota, to Jeff Relic, and so on. And this was a big leveraging discovery for the company. And we redesigned most of the processes in a lean thinking perspective. But it was quite difficult to bridge the gap between the XP practices and the whole system lean thinking. But the lean thinking investigations made me meet Scrum. I went to a training with Jeff Sutherland, and then the whole loop was closed and everything was going to fit together, and we became quite successful in our activities, production activities, and I started to reflect about could we bring this further into the management system of the company? And this is what the talk is about. So the company, very quickly, we created it 9 years ago with one of my friends and former colleague, Ludovic. We spent almost 3 years not knowing exactly what we wanted to do. We were doing contracting work on an opportunity base. And then we decided for a plan, and we started to grow the company. Now we're about 30 persons, and we have a very high profitability, which is part of the model. And we operate in 3 lines of business, but the main and the common cause is that we try through our different skills to help our clients be more effective or more competitive in their markets. So some of us do it by bringing in consulting, some of us do it by bringing in software, some of us do it by bringing in expertise, but we also always try to make the client more effective. Still works. So what is the goal? I said the goal is not building an agile company. Our goal, our purpose, what we decided in 2007 that we wanted to do with this company was to try to invent a virtuous circle company. A company that makes the customer happy. This was a very lazy position. We didn't want to have hard time selling. So the best option to have easy sales is to delight the customers. We also wanted to have happy co-workers. I don't like the term employees, so I like co-workers rather. I don't own the co-workers. They choose to work with me for a period of time. Maybe they will, some of them stay for 8 years, some of them stay for 1 year. For the time that they are in the company, we are co-working. And to make the co-workers happy, we focus on trying to give them work that is meaningful for them, to let them have their say about the way the work is done or the company is run. And I strongly believe in learning, in getting better. This is my drive. I take pleasure from getting better at what I do. So I create a company that more or less brings together people who want to be better at what they do. Okay. Indeed, this is our hiring slogan. It's in French, but it says something like, "You're good, come and be better." But we want it also to make a lot of money. Ludovic and me were the two co-founders. We worked together before in a company, a software editor, that went bankrupt, that had very conflicting relations with its suppliers, its bank, its shareholders, its clients. The company culture was based on lie. So we wanted essentially to build a company that was not the one that we were employed for before. A company that respected its clients, its collaborators, that made money, and also a company that had a positive impact on the world. We think our company in a very long-term perspective. I intend to leave it to my children or their children. So there's no sense for me in making a company that is like burning what it works with. We have to have a sustainable pace, and sustainable pace, I come from an XP background, also works for the company, having a profitable impact for its environment, or at the very least not make it a worse place. So this seems quite paradoxical, but there are other ways to reformulate it. What we want to do is work with our customers to co-author solutions rather than try to sell them something that they don't need. We want to invest in relationships and people. We want to focus on delivering high value and getting high value from it. And we know that the world is changing fast and we are thinking long term, so we are not making plans for the next century. We are rather building a company that is capable of adapting frequently. Oh, it's the Agile Manifesto reformulated. So maybe this makes sense to investigate this Agile thing for building a company. So how do we build complex system softwares? If I take Scrum, for instance, my latest discovery about Agile in 2008, to me, Scrum was the bridge between Lean and XP. So I essentially noticed what was not in Lean and not in XP. And two key points for me was that Scrum separates responsibilities and roles. You have, and it creates a sort of systems of opposite forces, and resolving those opposite constraints and forces makes the system better. You have the product owner is focusing about on the why we do the thing, where is the value. Then you have the team. Since I'm from a developer background, I tend to see the team as superheroes. They focus on the what we do. And then you have The oil in the middle, which is the Scrum Master, is caring about the how the system works. And the second point about Scrum is that you have, the second key point for me was that you have public information. This is the famous or infamous information radiator. Well, if I apply that to the company, I have the business owner instead of the product owner, that's me. Well, I'm not eating money. Unfortunately, I have not enough money. What is happening? Everything is turning off. Okay, good. The computer is rebooting. I think this is a Windows update. Yeah, configuring Windows update, 25%. Do not turn the computer off. So, I try to go without the slides. This thing is wonderful. So there's the, I'm doing it. There's the team, all the people doing the job. Then we have the Scrum Master. Who is the Scrum Master in my organization? It's my co-founder, Ludovic. He is the general manager of the company. And this is quite interesting because it changes his role. His role is not to command and control. His role is to facilitate the process. Is to put oil in the system, to let the people focus on what I find gives the most value. Oh, it's rebooting now, 40%. Let's hope I can show you a few pictures. And then you have the information radiator. And I put a picture of Aurélie. Aurélie is our accountant and administrator. And her role in the company has become, instead of being a control role, I'm looking at what you did and I'm telling you where you did wrong and I'm controlling your expense sheets. I'm providing you with more information and I'm making the information understandable and accessible to everyone. I'll take 30 seconds ago. I need my two hands to open a session again. I had all sorts of experience with computers, but I think applying Windows Update during a session is the first. Okay, found the PowerPoint. Well, while it launches, I'll try to continue. So this gave us some insights about what we could do, or where people, or where the traditional management setup could fit in an agile perspective. But yet this raised a lot of questions. Just finding the right slide. Is it on? Hello? Hello video. Yes, great. At least the reboot was quite fast. So we have, as I said, the Scrum Master, the General Manager becomes the Scrum Master, the team, the Information Radiator, which is the accountancy department, and the business owner. This raised a lot of questions. We want to be a company that has a positive impact on the world, which means we invest a lot in non-profit actions, like helping non-profit organizations, social workers, or investing in arts projects. Can we make money and not be greedy? Can we deliver the best value at the best cost for the client and pay the co-workers with a sufficient amount of money, or at least what their work is worth of? Okay, and now that he has rebooted, he's just launching every app that was on my PC, so... well, this is it. So can we make money and not be greedy? How does the money get shared in the system? Should we grow? We started as a small company, we went up to 20, 25, and then we started asking questions. Can this scale up? If we are going to be bigger, we are going to have middle management. How is this working with middle management? We have tried that and failed. It doesn't work with middle management. So we have come up with another solution. Can we have work that is meaningful for people, which means they bring their own vision, their own ideas, their own intentions in their work, and still have a coherence for the global thing, a global coherence and cohesion. If we let people self-organize, yes, 5 minutes? Okay, I'm very, very late. Can we have people self-organize and not lose control of the whole thing? I was going to pay, well, my co-founder, he says, how do you manage a herd of cats? This is the big question. I was going to pay a tribute to my grandma because she taught me how we can be both generous and greedy, but I'll tell you that at coffee if you want to know about my grandma. The first thing that we found was how to scale. I had a souvenir of mathematics from 1987 about a mathematical structure that is infinitely self-similar, that can be scaled up or scaled down and keep the same properties. That is a scalar. This is Sierpinski's math. And if you look, the traditional org chart, the pyramid, it's a scalar. And a scalar is a very effective model for organizations because it allows you to think both at the very local level and at the very large level with more or less the same rules. The organization we have come up with, it looks like this. We have identified 3 different functions. You have the product owner function, that's red, that's the people who are looking forward to the future. They are thinking what we are going to do tomorrow. They are investigating, they are doing the research and development, the marketing, the sales. Then you have the blue people. They are focused about what we do now. They manage, and they manage in a scrum way, which means they facilitate the work of self-organizing teams. And then you have the past-looking people who are about measuring, because we cannot improve if we don't have measurements. So this is the 3 parts of Scrum reapplied to the structure of the company. How do we motivate people, let them have their say and give meaning to their work? Well, we went for intrapreneurship, which means being an entrepreneur inside the company. Those 3 parts of the company that you saw, the 3 lines of business, they are run by people who run it like it was their own company, who are associated, they have shares in their line of business, and they take their own decisions. So you have a better idea about what we could do with our skills, go do it. The 2 rules are simple. You have to comply with the company project, which means make money, grow people, deliver value, benefit to your environment. And you have to not cut yourself from the community, which means you have to provide career gateways from or to your business unit. If you're creating a new line of business with different skills, you have to provide training sets for people who want to take on that new line of business. Then, how do you not lose control? Well, actually we had to reformulate that, because it's not possible to have control over a self-organizing organization. But the bottom line is, why do we want to control? We want to control because there are risks. If everybody is going to spend money everywhere, there is risk for the company that we are going to bankrupt. So the need is security. The way we address security is the other way around. We consider that nobody wants to sink the ship. We know that. We were in a company that went bankrupt. Nobody wanted it, even though the accumulation of every single decision made it. So the base is to let people have the information to make informed and responsible decisions. But information, we discovered, is absolutely useless if people don't know how to exploit it. So what we did was, first we turned the accounting system into an information radiator. Every financial information is available on the internet. But then we had to reprocess that, and it's the work of Aurélie to reprocess that and provide dashboards that provide information and not data. And then we had to train the people to read that. Not everybody knows how to read a cash flow. And if I let every person decide whether he can buy a computer or not, I need to know that he knows how to look at the cash flow, how to look at the spreadsheets, and decide whether we can afford it or not. And then, of course, every Agilist knows that public information also carries a social control mechanism, which is quite strong. So I don't need to control the expenses. The expenses are on the intranet. See, if someone is paying his vacation on expense sheets, someone is going to see it and talk to him about it. So the roles changes, I told that before, I'm running. Last point was cohesion. If every business unit is running its own business with its own ideas, how do we still have a community? And there are also moments when we need to decide things for the community. Decision is an act of power, and power is the place where there are conflicts. So this is something we investigated a lot. In most companies, it's information that's power, so people have conflict for information. But in the same logic that sharing information drops the power stakes on the information, we said if we can share the power, maybe it will drop the conflict stakes on the power. And we are investigating, we're experimenting with sociocracy. I cannot tell you if this works well or not at the moment, because we started it last year, and now it's still, well, in the middle of the river. I have to push it every now and then. It's not in the culture yet. But the principle is that everyone who has a traditional hierarchical power chooses what part, and usually it's every part, he wants to share with the organization below him. So, for instance, it's the teams who chose their manager, which is their scrum master instead, or their facilitator. It's the people who choose which business unit they want to work in. Well, they negotiate. They say, I want to join your team, so the team has to say, yes, welcome, and the team they leave, they have to negotiate the conditions with that they're leaving. Okay, but not before 6 months, so that we hire someone to replace you. Okay, but it's on a direct basis, and it's quite interesting. I find that sociocracy, which I encourage you to look at, is quite compatible with agility. Last thing is we have to take care about learning. I said that we want to make people happy, and in my view, making people happy is letting them come better. That we learned is, of course, something that's obvious for every agilist is that iterations are key, because the shorter the iteration, the faster you, or the more often you learn. But also, we learned that measurement is a key. We cannot track our progress, we cannot really learn, we're not always really sure what works or not if we do not have measurements. And we found out that, again, the accounting system, what you measure provides ground for the decisions that you take. So if you want to take decisions that account also for the customer satisfaction, for the environment impact, you have to provide some sort of measurement for that. And this is also a domain that we're investigating currently. And we've been also using a lot of lean startup ideas about how we design experiments and measure it. And I'm closing. I want to suggest that you should be unreasonable. This is a quote from George Bernard Shaw that I like a lot. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, while the unreasonable man tries to make the world respond to him or adapt to him. And this is where progress comes from. So be unreasonable. Thank you.